Aloha, good afternoon. Yo, listen, Fidelis here, Warrior Solutions. What it is. Happy Thursday. Listen, today's topic, a healing plan. What's your action plan to heal or for healing? Okay? So I'm particularly focused at the veterans at this point. Okay? Particularly my veteran friends and families. But this can also be for anybody out there with certain challenges or whatnot. You understand? So, what's your healing plan? What are your steps towards that? What's the end goal? Okay, that's the topic. Let's share this. How is everybody doing? Greetings. Fred, hi Papa. Denise, hi. Yo, Matt Notieka, what's up? Mawan, what it is? Fred, you know what's up. What's going on? Talk to me, people. All right. So let's share this. Bear with me, hang in there. Okay. Greetings to everybody. Greetings. How are you all doing? Facebook Live, you know what it is. Here we are. Bear with me. So yeah, what are your steps towards healing? What are you doing about it? Okay. So that's the question. Bear with me. Let me find Warrior Solutions real quick. You know. Greetings to Wesley Chapel. U17 boys, we start training next week. You know what it is. State Cup is waiting. We're coming. Greetings. Okay, here we go. So, question for everybody. What are your relationships like with your doctors? Okay, so I often talk about this, and I merely share this with just based off my experiences, okay? This is my experience, and see how that works for somebody else. You know, often you got the doctors, and then the doctor will give you like a plan towards your healing, or depending on what challenge you're faced with. In this instance, I'm referring this to like PTSD. Okay, I've dealt with that, and I continue to deal with that. Okay, so then the question is, what are the steps towards healing? Have you just accepted that you have that as a stigma and you're just going to live your life with that? Or you going to grow out of that and say, listen, those were my experiences. That was my past. Yeah, I'm still faced with these challenges, but they don't define me. Okay? Those experiences made me grow from being who I was then to who I am today. Okay? And then out of that, you should also be able to pay attention to your strength levels. How did that materialize to make you stronger than you are before? Okay? But then, how much of stigma, how much of societal factors, how much of societal stigma you accepting? How much contribution by the society are you just leading your life by and saying, okay, this is what the society says of me, therefore that's who I must define myself with? Why shouldn't the focus just merely be on you, on the self, regardless of what the society says about PTSD or who you are? Who are you? What's your understanding of the self? What are your goals? Okay? What are your contribution to yourself? You understand? How much questions are you asking your doctor? How much of the medication you're taking are you aware about? What are the side effects? How are the side effects contributing to the challenge? And how are you allowing that to weigh you down more than, the challenge itself that you're trying to heal? So the question again is, what's your contribution to your healing process? You understand? What type of food are you eating to help you heal? Are you eating, to heal that, right? I got a text message. Yeah, I was having a phone call come in. Yeah. So the question then is, how come when you're going through, like, say, for example, you sprained an ankle, you continuously go through a therapy sessions, right, to try to get it better, to get it to where you're able to be strong enough to walk with it or whatnot, right? See, they give you like an action plan. They give you like a timetable. They give you like, say, okay, maybe in 2-3 months, you're going to be okay. So, but we're never educated in terms of like PTSD, or at what point is that are you going to be able to cope with it to a point where you just accept and say, oh, it does no longer weigh me down, right? And I say this, as I run around and I interact with different veterans, I constantly run into veterans that are still dealing with PTSD from Vietnam War era. That's like 50 years ago. Okay? So, over 50 years ago. So then the question is, goodness. So, what are we learning from them? so that our generation does not last 50 years, 60 years suffering the same way? Are we having conversations with them? Right? But are you also accepting that the silence of the mother is actually costing us more? What we call silent wounds. You are dealing with certain different level of weights that nobody else comprehends, but you're dealing with it. But what are you doing to help alleviate that? What are you doing to walk away from that weight? How much are you taking care of your body to be able to handle certain stress levels? Are you eating well? How much are you paying attention to the medications you're taking? Do you understand its side effects and how that impacts your healing process? Or are you just taking them just because they say take them? I'm not saying stop taking them, but what I'm saying is, do you understand the side effects so then you know how to, associate the difference? What's your relationship like with your doctor? What kind of conversations do you have with your doctor in regards to what you're enduring? It's very, very important to have a good relationship with your doctor so then you're not, so you're not a statistic like everybody else that just goes and argues with the doctor and says, okay, these are the pills or whatnot. But when you have a good relationship with your doctor, guess what? It allows for focus on a personal level. But when you're distant and isolated, that's exactly what you're going to get. Isolation in your care. Distant in the matter, right? But what are you going to do about that? Is the question. Are we on the same page? What's your contribution to self? Do you know that communication is one of those key factors that lead towards healing? Do you understand that the more you talk about what it is that is challenging you, the less the weight? The more conversations you have about the situation or the matter at hand, the more weight you're letting go for you. The more of a relief you're getting. The more you talk it out, the more you're letting it go. The more you talk it out, the more you're letting it go. The more you hold on to it in yourself out of pridefulness, guess what? The more weight you're going to feel. The more your shoulders are down. You understand? Remember, somebody somewhere once said, knowledge is power. The more you're equipped, the better. Okay? So how well are you equipped is the question. The thing about healing is this. Try not to focus on finding justification as to why that happened. Instead, be aware that it happened. You understand? But that was also then. That's not now. The now and the future is your choice. Okay? There was literally a time I never thought I would heal out of PTSD. Well, I'm not healed, but coping. There was a time I never thought I would arrive to a point where I'm accepting. I couldn't sleep. The nightmares were they are very realistic. You're like, no, I'd rather stay awake because the more you slept, the more threatening it was. And then out of that, the loss of friends. Friends that lost war to silent wounds, So you start asking yourself questions, oh goodness, is it me who is next? I mean, those questions arrive. You question yourself. You ask yourself those questions. Okay? But then out of that, you get a reminder too. But wait a minute. When I was younger, this is what I used to say I wanted to be. What died out of that? Have you ever gone back to dig deep inside yourself before the experience that kind of just completely took you off your rail? And remind yourself who you used to be at that time. And how far you have changed because of the experiences. But what's the connectivity between that inner, your inner self, that energy that you used to carry, that passion that you used to really drive you, the wants, you understand? Okay? The dream. At what point must you allow that to completely die because you're challenged? Why can't the choice be, wait, I had this dream when I was younger. Yeah, these experiences have completely derailed me. But I still want my dreams to come to, to life. right? So then the question is, okay, what's the game plan then? What's the game plan to help you towards the healing process so that you can get back to life the way you wanted? So I'm also not going to assume that everybody has access to doctors. If you have no access to the doctor, what about the elders in the family? What about your pastor? What about those elders within the community? By the way, have you ever found one of those older gentlemen that served earlier before you and then just have a conversation with them? Do you know, also by the way, and this is to my veteran friends, do you know that we can help each other heal? We have isolated each other so completely. We come from that brotherhood of, my bad about this, my bad about that, accountability, taking care of somebody, taking care of your platoon, taking care of your, you know what I mean? Like that wealth of a relationship, right? To completely now we are isolated in completely different environments. We do no longer keep in touch with each other. We can have conversations that are supposed to help us heal. But now you're forcing yourself to have certain conversations with certain people that do not understand the situation you're going through. And then you wonder why. They can't comprehend it. Why even bother? And then you cannot have those kind of conversations with people that are judgmental. At no point can you go and tell somebody, a part of a challenge you're faced with, and then they come back and try to point a finger at you, or look at this weak one, look at that or that. Okay? Since when are societal factors becoming your personal issue? Do you also understand the majority of the society does not understand what it is we're going through as veterans? So what's the fear of allowing that to take charge over your Listen, you cannot let the societal expectations control your well-being. You can't. What you want out of your life must be the driving force. You must break away from the societal expectations. Okay? And focus on self. You understand? Have a good relationship with your doctors so they can guide you well. Pay attention to what you ingest. What are you taking in? You understand? And then, do you also understand that the stress level and just the feeling of depression and things of that nature will completely try to drive your soul away from your body? It's your job to bring it back. Remember, the body is just a temple housing your soul. Right? So at what point do you just say, okay, it's too much. Let me just, I don't know. If you don't know, go find out what you don't know, so then you can know. There's abundance of information out there. And all of it is to help, guide your path for the better. But you must have a plan. You must have a plan in place to heal. You cannot say, okay, I'm going to accept to suffer from PTSD for the next 10 years. It's draining. It's too draining. Okay? But instead of taking time or wasting that time to find justification as to why you're feeling that, accept that you're feeling that. Because out of that acceptance will allow you to focus on solutions. Like we say always at Warrior Solutions, worry takes away from the good. Okay? So at Warrior Solution, my job is to merely remind you, stop worrying. I understand the cost of it. It's too costly. No one has ever arrived to a solution by worrying. Instead, you must remind yourself. A reminder is a quick reminder that no, worrying is not a solution. Worrying does not bring about any good. Okay? What are the steps you are taking towards healing? What are your action plans? It's 2020. Can we start at least looking for different ways of learning how to cope, knowing that those issues are there, instead of isolating them? You understand? Silent woods are a killer. I have lost friends that would smile with a beautiful smile in their face. You never think they have an issue whatsoever. Silent wounds. You know, there's often this focus on paying attention to, when you have a limb missing, I'm knowing, oh, that person is dealing with this. When you have a scar, oh, this person is dealing with that. But what happens to those that have silent scars? They too need attention. But the kind of attention they need is not one you assume. Right? The power of conversations makes a difference. It really does. I believe that. Okay? So then the question too is this. What set of people do you have around you? If you have negative people around you, you need to let them go. Get them out of your circle. They are not going to help you. Because if someone is negative and they constantly just derailing you or in your progress, keep reminding you about the challenge you have instead of reminding you that you can get better, then what's the point? But how are you reminding your own self too that you're strong enough to get better? Yes, you are. You understand? So it's like this. And this is the best way I want you to pay attention to this. When you apply for jobs, and I talk about here in America, they often ask in that application, are you able to lift 50 pounds or more? A generic question, right? So if your answer is yes, chances are you're going to get the job. If your answer is no, well, that means you can't really lift 50 pounds. So let's take it further. 100 pounds. If someone asks you, can you lift 100 pounds? Chances are you're going to be like, I might need help so I can lift it sufficiently enough to move it from this location to the next, right? Why is it that when you're dealing with the mental pain, the emotional pain, the weight of that, you're disregarding it? You do not want to go seek help to lift the 200 pounds to move it from one location to the next. You clearly know you cannot lift that weight on your own, but you completely disregard and isolate yourself out of pridefulness, thinking you can lift it. You can't. You can't do it on your own. There comes time when you have to seek guidance. You have to seek a friend, somebody close, and say, listen, same way you'd call someone and say, help me lift this 100 pounds from here to the next. It's the same exact way you can call a friend and say, man, I'm dealing with this weight. I need someone to just listen to me. And for the supporting cast, sometimes it's just okay for you to just listen. You don't even have to provide feedback. Remember, the more they're communicating out, the more they're letting go. So sometimes your job is just sit there and listen. Don't even try to pretend to understand what it is you're talking about. Just listening is good enough too. Right? So how are you a supporting cast as a family member? How are you contributing for the good and not taking away? Because it defeats the purpose for you to be in that inner circle and then not contribute for the good. It really does. Okay? Let me take a minute to look through here, see who says what. Hello, greetings. Who's watching? What's up? Greetings from Wesley Chapel. You know what it is? Warrior Solutions. That's us. A worry-free zone. Give me a second. Let me just look through, see if there's a comment or two before we close down. So my question to you is, what's your contribution to self in regards to that healing plan? Okay? What kind of food are you eating? Meat will not help you heal faster. It will not. Pay attention to what you eat. Okay? So listen up. So that's the piece I had for the day. Okay? What are your plans or what are your healing plans? What plan do you have towards healing? How are you contributing to that? How are you paying attention to your medications, pills, and other stuff that you take in for whatever coping mechanism you think they are benefiting you? Okay? What's your relationship like with your doctor? What are your relationships like overall? Okay? How much of that do you believe in yourself too, in terms of progress forward? Do you also know that you have the strength to be able to fight through that? Right? What's your contribution? And like I said, for those with no access to doctors, okay, have you reached out to the elders in your community? Have you reached out to the pastor? Okay? Have you reached out to a dad, a mother, a big brother? You know, have you reached out to a coach? Have you reached out to anybody? Anybody that has a willingness to listen to you? You understand? And I want you to know this. Pride when it comes to self-care is misused. Don't be prideful. Don't be one of those people carrying 200 pounds on you, knowing for sure that you don't have the strength to carry that. Find some help in carrying that weight. Or find ways to start shedding it off. You know? People only pay attention to weight in terms of like, well, I'm 180. So I've put on like 6 pounds in the last year, for example, right? So then if you want to lose that 6 pounds, what are the mechanisms towards losing that? You go to the gym, you work out, you pay attention to what to eat, this and that, right? So, but what happens to when we're talking about like PTSD, the weight of that, the emotional weight, the mental weight, just the memories, just all these things that keep tormenting us, things that are just keep weighing you down. What's the solution towards shedding the weight off? That's my question for you. Think about that. Find something that works for you. Stop isolating yourself out of fear. Stop isolating yourself out of laziness. Stop isolating yourself just because you feel the need to just give up. You have no more strength. No. You do. Okay? Seek solutions. Seek guidance. The resources are there. Chances are there. Okay? I'm out. Warrior Solution. Much love.